Get your hands up, yeah. To the floor, yeah.
All rise.
I am here.
Boy, 30 Plus Podcast is now in session.
Yes, we are.
Hey, the Honorable Judge Nneka X presiding.
Who the judge?
I'm the bailiff.
No, you ain't. You the lady at the front desk that check everybody's ID. I am the bailiff.
No, you're the what is the person who types the stuff up? Stenographer. Stenographer. Is that
now,
it?
how can you say that? You can't say the bailiff.
Is that it? That's
yes,
correct.
that was great.
Hey, that's
I
what
am
it
proud
is.
of you.
Hey, and that's who you are. I'm the bailiff.
You not. You ain't no way. You can't secure yourself, let alone protect everybody else.
Hey, I can protect
Order in the court.
judge.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Order in the court. This is the 30 Plus Podcast where we talk love, life, and lessons after 30. This your girl Nneka X. The X is for X Factor. Ha ha ha. AKA
okay.
the Pink Star General. AKA Nick Millie.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. Your boy Fly since birth, a.k.a. Fuckboy Fly, a.k.a. Cinco de Mayo Mike. My bad. I like Cinco de Mayo Mike, though. Happy Cinco de Mayo?
No.
No?
Well, it won't be when the show airs.
Well,
You big dummy.
well, well, look, that way they know this
And this class is why he has to be the person typing, because we have to tell him what to say.
Hey, it's still the same.
No further
It's
questions,
not,
Your
though.
Honor.
Regardless, even when you hear this, I'm still Cinco de Mayo Mike, basically.
Don't try to fix it now.
It ain't changing.
First
I'm
of
still
all,
We can't change it unless we start over. You want me to hit?
there. Stop record.
No.
They don't need to hear this one.
First of all, I couldn't get past the F word.
Oh, that
Like
was
we
my
ain't trying to
bad.
get no coin here.
Hey, that was my bad.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what happens when you. That's when
No,
you,
no, 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 no,
that's,
no,
that's
no,
boy
no.
Fly. That's what he do. He
No,
have his own life, and they don't see. Look, it's already the sense at this point. It don't matter.
It's your girl, Miss Cookie, baby.
Please say that, baby.
Please say the baby. And sometimes the baby has to be the grown up. You know, y'all, we
Cookie
talked
the
about
monster.
raising our parents. Now you got to raise your older siblings sometimes.
That's y'all fault. Y'all gave me a cup.
No.
That's my fault. But you came in here out of order.
He can't, correct.
That's my problem.
You
So,
walked
yeah.
in the room. You
Again.
see, that's that Bobby Brown stuff. You better cut it.
Oh, I'm more like David Ruffin.
Not at all.
You really not.
Let's be clear.
And just like David, the show will still go on.
Hello. Oh, they're still kicking. You saw him on J Hud?
Yeah.
Okay. Original member.
The founder member, if you want to be technical.
Yeah.
Correct. And everybody is here to see Otis.
Yes, indeed. I would say how everyone's energy, but I can tell. I'm a little nervous to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway. How's your energy, Fly?
Mine is green because it's, you know.
The girl said, how your energy, he gave us a color. God. This is what happened when you ask your
Oh,
child.
my bad.
That's for
Well,
y'all that
but
got
Johnny had 2 apples.
Yes. That's
Okay,
the kids
my
when
bad.
you say,
My bad.
what's your favorite color? And he say 7.
Oh, 7.
Look.
All right, my bad.
My God.
My energy is obviously great and excellent because I'm feeling good. So I'm having great energy. How is y'all energy? Because y'all seem a little low compared to mine.
We not low. We just responsible. There's a
And
difference.
ground.
This is the 30 Plus Podcast, sugar.
I'm old
And you
up in
on the
here.
plus end of the 30.
I know. That
So-
sucks for me.
Let's act accordingly.
Never.
And that's
Saying I'm just stressed. How am I? I'm stressed. What color is stress? And I was fine before you walked through my
Gray
threshold.
probably. It's like a gray.
Is it gray?
Now,
I think
gray
stress
is more of a
gray.
depressed.
Well, yeah.
I'm not sad. I think
Stress
once
is
you leave
more
my
like
house-
a ombre. So you like a red black.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
With
once
some
you
squiggly
leave,
lines.
once you leave the
Yeah.
Kimball Castle Studios, I'll probably be okay again.
okay.
I told you,
You
protect your
leave, I'll be
peace.
talking again. So
Y'all, before we hit this button,
for the moment, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
If you want to know the truth.
when
My
we
bad.
hit this button, I told this lady protect her peace. And she put her
Man.
cape on, and this is what we
I
got.
was
Now she's
good. We
stressed.
had to record, but it's just the principality. I thought you was gonna get it together when I hit the record button,
I
and
thought
that's
I
not what
was
happened.
together.
You're not.
See?
You're not.
First step
Look,
is
my together, y'all together ain't the same.
It's clearly.
So, wait, how was y'all feeling? Because I feel like I
Stress.
missed that. Oh, what was you feeling, Cookie?
overwhelmed, overstimulated,
Confused, bewildered, lethargic.
Yes.
All right, well, I need y'all to finish the rest of y'all cup then. So
It
y'all
ain't the
can-
cup.
Since you
Hell,
needed a thesaurus
here's
word,
the-
lethargic.
Here's the deal: we can't enjoy the cup
Uh,
because we got to babysit you.
I ain't never been a baby since.
I'm a professional DD, so
Everybody let me do my thing. They know how I rock. I'll
Yeah,
be
so
all right.
guys, again, cousins. You know how your big cousins can be, and they come in the house on Thanksgiving doing too much. This is one of those episodes, so we're going to apologize in advance.
yes,
Hopefully,
he did.
we can turn nothing to something today. Hopefully,
Yeah, of course.
thank you.
Oh.
I love it. You're so optimistic.
Always.
In the
You
words
know
of Lil
me.
Wayne, keep sipping that cup.
Don't threaten him with a good time, because
Facts. I definitely need another one.
when it's gone, I don't know.
wait,
Oh, no.
what you mean?
BYOB.
What they say, where you getting it from? Okay.
I see a bar
The
over
first-
there.
The first drink is complimentary.
I like the old folks say, swallow your spit.
Oh, that's crazy. It was sip
Drink,
slow.
slip slow.
My mama say, sip it slow and make it work.
Yeah. You
That's
may
crazy.
let that ice melt down, get your little.
They give you at least 3 more
Oh,
sips.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like y'all said, y'all ain't finishing y'all, so I'll just finish.
Oh no,
y'all.
I don't need no help, sugar. I'm good.
I thought that's what you were saying.
No, that's
Nah.
not. It's
Oh,
co-responsible. We're gonna use that. You're gonna learn that word this week.
It's gonna be too late. I'm gonna be sobered up when it's time to go.
That's a good thing. That's the point.
You just now be getting hit. See, it's a difference. Let me teach y'all how to do this.
What are you talking about?
Well,
I
again,
come from an alcoholic. You can't tell me about no alcohol, fool. I do this.
Oh my god.
He's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you
girl.
good.
Come
You
on,
good.
Judge. Well, I'm gonna put him out. I'm gonna hold you in contempt of court, young
Okay.
man.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
All right, my bad.
Thank you. Okay.
I actually went to school for criminal justice, but that's another story.
I wouldn't tell nobody but God.
Please. It'll kill your mama.
Oh, that's crazy. I can get any of y'all off, but okay.
Excuse me. I already have a brother-in-law's my force, and we good. Appreciate you. You gonna have me in there.
I'm
You
like-
went to jail before I haven't, so I'm doing better than you.
And I represent myself and got out.
Why did you go in? Then you missing it. That
We're
you
on
shouldn't have
different
been in.
stories. Sometimes you get caught. Plain and simple. Sometimes you get caught.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Oh,
You
man.
got 7 years.
What's
7
the
years is
topic?
crazy.
Yes.
Hey, my record clean now.
All right. So, welcome to the 30 Plus podcast, where we talk love, life, and lessons after 30. And these topics take center stage. Today, we're unpacking something that shows up in every relationship, career shift, and tough conversation: emotional intelligence. Because let's be real, once you hit your 30s, it's not just about what you feel, it's about why, how, and what you do with those feelings. Today, we're talking self-awareness, triggers, communication, and how to stop letting unprocessed emotions run the show. And we're not doing it alone. We're going to get into some things and all the way into it. So whether you're healing, setting new boundaries, or just trying to keep your peace, you tune into the right episode. Yes.
You know I'm gonna help you.
You sound good, girl.
Thank you,
Come
girl.
on, girl number
All right.
6.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
So,
In her demon time, might start an OnlyFans.
oh Lord.
I was just well, you know, OnlyFans, they be bamboozling. One dude, they thought they were finna see his body. That boy straight cooking
Hey,
with clothes on.
as you should.
Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. So, how has your understanding of emotional intelligence changed since you've been in your 30s?
Girl, he haven't. You don't even look this way.
Oh, you talking to me?
We
Oh.
were.
Someone,
okay.
anyone. This is a podcast. So
It's a collaborative.
don't everybody talk at once.
Right.
I mean, because on our text pre-soap prep, you had a lot to say, so
Of
I
course.
figured
Oh,
you just jump
girl.
Oh,
into
you
it.
know, I mean, I thought you were gonna give like I feel like with some conversations, these people need like a definition so that they.
You have one?
She just
Oh,
gave
no.
a bunch of.
No,
I really
no.
did. But
She
go
Well,
ahead.
did.
I mean,
At
for
this
this-
age, the way she gave it
I
is
mean,
how it's
yes,
supposed to be perceived.
I understand that, but some people want the technical definition because, you know me, if we go
All right,
speak in
come on. So
technicalities,
that's what we finna
you
do
know
every
I'ma do.
episode. Okay, let me.
No, not in every.
I'll give
episode.
you Ed
No.
Webster.
No,
I
yeah,
just-
please.
No, hold
Please.
on,
No,
hold on.
please.
No, I'm
please.
gonna give it to you, baby. Nope,
Please.
nope.
But-
This Burger King today. Be cool.
Oh my
Please.
God, I was just saying.
No, please. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I just want to make sure that we're on the same.
We are.
We
We
are,
will be.
and that's why
It's okay.
I pulled this
intellectual
up.
playing field.
Yeah, we
you
are.
know?
We will be.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage both your own emotions and understand the emotions of people around you. Again, emotional intelligence is the ability to manage both your own emotions and understand the emotions of people around you.
Yeah.
They gave you 5 elements for
That's
those. If you
natural
wanted.
for Libras.
Please.
That's like a Libra.
Hold on, wait a minute before you dive in.
Oh, okay.
Let me bring the thing full circle.
You wanted it, we're going to give it to
You
you.
wanted,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
The teacher in me is
Well, the
obliging
people
you.
wanted it. I feel like.
Well, they didn't ask. You did.
You
but we're
did.
going to help you because I want you to be able to speak
Yes.
to this
Come on.
intelligently.
All right.
So,
Let's
So
go there.
there are 5 key elements to emotional intelligence:
Okay.
self-awareness,
Okay.
self-regulation. This is you.
Oh yeah.
Pay attention to that. Put a pin in that. Motivation,
Mm-hmm.
empathy. This is where I come in. Social skills.
No, that's
Been doing that 13 years. In case you want to know what that means, you know my job. There
Are
you
we
go.
on number 4 yet?
Yeah, and this is why you have an IEP, because you needed that OR administration to understand. You can't even count the numbers. I gave you all 5 of them.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
I felt like I only heard 2.
correct, because you listen to respond and not to hear. Now back to emotional
that's because you're
intelligence.
part of the problem. Go ahead, though.
What is your take on Mr. Fly?
Since being in your 30s.
Being in my 30s though, emotional intelligent, I feel like that's when you learn that word, because in your 20s you don't even hear that.
Who told you that?
No,
Like,
I'm just,
who
I'm just
said
like-
that?
But no, that's when I feel like it started being more held accountable. I feel like I've always had an extremely high level of emotional intelligence because I'm very self-reflective and I am very self-aware of everything that I do. The things that I do is always purposely.
Did you hit a B clause to that word?
That's
and it was a conjunction.
That's scary to me. You out here doing this on purpose.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
My
I
God,
choo-
today.
I choose to live the life that I want to live, So
I told you he be doing the stuff on purpose.
yeah, 90% of what I do is on purpose. I
So
was very self-aware.
how do you handle the because of that then?
I don't
Because
never
of
see
that
the
definition
because.
said, and also other people's emotions.
So this is how I feel about that. Everybody is their own person. I'm not in charge of your emotions. I'm not here to control how you feel. I'm here to understand, listen, and that's about the best I can do. I can't control how you feel. Everybody is responsible for their self, because also in that definition it says self-awareness. So I feel like that's where that kicks in.
No,
You're
those
aware
were
of
the key
yourself.
elements. It wasn't.
So hey, well,
Social skills was also one of them words, which means you have to do that with somebody else.
oh, I'm very social. Everybody know me.
Yeah, but how are your social skills?
Everybody know me.
Social skills aren't the ability to be social. It's how are you socially.
I can have a conversation with anybody at any time about anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've been doing since I was a kid. One thing I learned very on is that you should know a little about a lot. You don't have to know everything, but you need to, be up on the current social events, the current politics, the current, health scares, news, topics, all that, And that's something that I always do, because that's just how I am. I pay attention to what's relevant, and I can always have a conversation with anybody. So I feel like that's part of emotional intelligence. That's something I learned when I was in high school, though. So that's something that I've always done, is learned a lot about a little, or a little about a lot. That way I can have a conversation with a CEO and a janitor, and it'll all still be the same.
Okay. I will agree with him saying that you're not in charge of other people's emotion. While you can understand and empathize with those emotions, you aren't in charge of other people's emotions in that regard. So normally I disagree with him, but I'm going to have to give him one today. Must be the alcohol. If I've been over drinking, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You ain't drinking enough. That's what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's facts. And that's
Otherwise,
based
I
on the
probably would disagree
definition.
with you or not.
The sober telling
Now
you
you
the
made
truth.
sense. You definitely made sense. We are not responsible for other people. I try to tell people how to feel, but sometimes you have to. In terms of, like, I don't tell people if I upset somebody, I don't tell them they don't have the right to be upset. You do.
Yeah.
All I can do is talk about my intent, but I always say intent and fact.
Two
But
different things.
I am aware of other people's emotions, so that's why I watch how I say things a lot and what I say. Do you do that?
Yeah. Do you feel like when you get older that your emotional intelligence just kick in, or do you think it's one of those things you just discover when you find it yourself?
For me, it was. I think how you raise have something to do with that too.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, we teach kids to share, be considerate. When somebody, like, I'll say for boys, the stigma with boys is they can't be crybabies. So you're like, hey, check that. For me, I had to grow up earlier than I needed to, so it was always second nature to me. But it doesn't mean that in your 20s it's supposed to be second nature. I think you should have some type of, at least out of them 5 elements, you know how to do 2 or 3 of them though.
Yeah.
And understand what they are. Because think about it, when you was in your 20s, you probably was a little feisty, just saying stuff, doing stuff, whatever. And then now at this age, you're like, yo, I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have thought about that. I should have said that way. We consider it. We send 2-week notice in. These these 20-year-olds, they cussing you out and walking out.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
That's me.
They get on LinkedIn and you could talk about it and give them a bad rating. They still don't care. They see it and go to the next job and they don't care. Right? So does that mean they lack emotional intelligence? Possibly.
Yeah, I was about to say, they like a lot of stuff. These new kids different.
That's more discernment.
Yeah. That's a whole different episode. Can you share a moment where emotional intelligence or lack of it changed the outcome of a situation for you?
I feel like emotional intelligence is definitely different in men and women. I feel like at least the definition is, because I feel like...
Or is it fly? Because fly always got a different definition.
For a man, what's different about it?
I feel like when men think of emotional intelligence, they're thinking of like somebody who, thinks beyond their emotions. Who, basically they think of somebody who doesn't react off of, what you said to them and stuff like that. They move more purposely. Like a woman who you can say something to and she's not gonna, burn down your house or, key up your car and break your windows. So I feel like they look at it different as far as when they say emotional intelligence. They're looking for a woman who know how to control her emotions, who know how to speak from a place of logic versus her feelings. And I feel like women, when they think of emotional intelligence, they're thinking of a man that's more in touch with his feelings, that communicates more, that's open and vulnerable. So I think it's like they have those 2 definitions. So I feel like that's kind of what gets people a little crossed up, because men look at it different than women. So I feel like when that's why I said that ask for the definition, because I feel like people look at it differently, emotional intelligence, like men and women. But I feel like for me, when I think of emotional intelligence with a woman, I think of a woman who speaks from more logic than she does how she feel. She moves more intent based off of what makes more sense than, what she thinks looks right, or, you know what I mean? So I think it's a definition, like a separation of the definition for men and women.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that. What y'all think?
Well, I know as women, we definitely want men who are emotionally controlled too, because men are now spazzing like women. So that's everything else. I can see your point, but I think I never associated a gender with it, to be honest. But again, that's because I was raised different. If that makes sense.
What you think, Nick?
Since the question was experience, I do have an experience in that.
Yay.
Back when I was on the sidewalk.
Yeah, because remember I told you I was in the street, she was on the sidewalk.
Back when I was on the sidewalk, I was getting to know someone, and very nice guy, and everything was good until you told him something that you didn't like about him, or something that bothered you.
Yeah.
One particular instance, I remember he kind of got a little out of line a little bit, not from talking yet. I mean, I don't like the conversation wasn't going in a positive direction, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I didn't say anything.
Do you want to say what the topic was?
So we were having a conversation, and he didn't know how to regulate his feelings. I will say, I'll put it like that. Mm-hmm. And full disclosure, backstory, and this is probably why I don't like men who like Kevin Samuels, because they tried to take on some of those attributes. And for me, that dog don't hunt, because I could be fit, feminine, friendly, and still tell you to get out my face.
And you get the bag.
Yeah.
She don't have kids.
Yeah.
All that he
Yeah,
said
so
y'all need, she got it.
Yeah. So I checked quite a few of the boxes that they
Yeah.
thought. So, okay, come correct. So fast forward. I didn't like how he was talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went back and I said, you know what? My EI kicked in, emotional intelligence. And I was like, I didn't say it to you the first time, but I didn't like how you came like that. And again, it wasn't disrespectful. He didn't call me out my name or anything. It was just like the trajectory of where the conversation was going. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I said, but I didn't say it in that moment. So he didn't get what I was talking about. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because I probably should have said it in that moment. And then maybe you would have understood what I was talking about. And he was like, okay. You know what I mean? So he kind of dismissed it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, if you did it like that, next year was going to happen again. So we're going to stay there, don't go nowhere. So fast forward, it ended up happening again. I said, you remember when I brought this up? I said, this is what I mean when I say you come off a certain way. And the dude spazzed at this point. Again, still never disrespected me, calling out my name or anything. He was just like, that mean I got some more healing to do. I don't even, and I'm like,
oh, girl.
What are you talking about, dude? Like, I said, okay, you know what? Maybe you do.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, I had to let go and let God in that moment. And then I think he went to go speak to the lady and then tried to come back. But by that point, I was over it.
Yeah.
Because you should have spoke to the lady before you disturbed me.
Yeah. Or make sure that, the plans were in semen. Maybe you should have got a certificate or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess that's. I don't think I probably have experiences, but I can't remember nothing. But
my thing, I should be able to bring up how I'm feeling to you, and you not get annoyed by it.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between nagging and me displaying how I feel about a certain topic. Just because someone displays I'm gonna say this dang it's a little strong, but a dislike for something doesn't mean that it's nagging.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where men and women kind of have that different ideology, because a lot of men think, oh, she nagging. That's not the case and all.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Sometimes she could be saying something for your greater good.
Yeah.
The man got to understand women just complain.
He listened to nothing. That is my point. And, my experience was similar to yours. It was an accountability conversation. That gentleman wanted a date, and I'm not an assumption person. So if we say, like, we're going to go out next Friday, if we haven't talked about it next Friday and there's no plan, I'm assuming we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Especially if day of we're having conversations and I'm like, hey, do you have a plan? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to come up with something. I'm not a last minute type girl. So, yeah, not happening. And so that gentleman called me 11:45 that night, baby, who? Like my grandma saying, nothing open but jail cells and legs. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to say, well, I just want to meet you somewhere, give you a hug, and then we'll resume tomorrow. No, I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If I as a woman did that to you, we planned a date, right? We knew we had this expectation. And then the day of, you're like, yo, especially if I said, because I know you're a man, so usually you are going to plan. But if the woman planned and you asking her the day of, hey, what we doing? And she steady saying, we going to come up with something. And then she have the disrespect. Baby, I'm not going nowhere. And so we were talking about that. And he was like, you know what, you're right. And then I guess the idea of him saying I was right out loud triggered him, bothered him, whatever the case was. And he was an older gentleman. He said, I'm a man. So what you say that for? Why'd you say that? What do you got to do with anything?
Same reason women just say I'm a girl.
No, we don't say
I'm
that.
just a girl. That's a lot. Oh, my God. The amount of women that tell me I'm just a girl. What is she talking about?
I never refer to myself as a girl. I'm grown as a woman, dog. So there's that. And I said, why are you saying that? You don't have to tell me that. I know that. And he was like, I'm just letting you know. And so I'm like, well, you keep having the need to be like, because he would do that in other instances. And I'm like, well, men lead. If this is what you want to, okay, men lead. So now what? I'm the man. Oh, okay. And he just spazzed out, and then we took, like, I didn't talk to him for 2 days, and then that next day he started sending crazy messages. First he said his daddy was sick and had cancer, pray for him. And I was going to call because I didn't want to text about that. If that's the case, it's serious, I want to call and make sure you're okay. So I was in the middle of doing something. I was like, I'm going to call him when I settle. Baby, he didn't give me 30 minutes, text back and said, don't worry about it, sorry to bother you. So now I'm like, okay, he playing because he checking my temperature. And then that fool sent me a whole roster of women like 6 hours later. I'm the prize type stuff. Boy, cut it.
So
EI was gone.
you think so?
What?
Or maybe he had the other kind where I mean, see,
What?
his emotional intelligence could have been like, I got
Lack
a roster. Why would I
thereof.
be? I don't know. I feel like that's why I asked for a definition because everybody got different
Lack thereof.
his self awareness.
Emotional intelligence at 51 years old, that shouldn't even been a conversation to have. First of all, my saying, I could show a man how I could be a better one. I would have never revealed my hand. Period. Especially if I got it. I'm not sweating over you, girl.
But based off the definition that Cookie read,
He left
what
it.
about it is gender specific? Like,
Oh,
It's not about it. I just feel like people just look at it different, and I feel like that's because they play off of the words instead of the definition.
I think people try to paint the word to make it
Fit
apply
them.
to them as opposed to the overall general what emotional intelligence is.
I agree. I definitely agree.
That's not what
People-
it sounded like that you were doing, though. You were trying to make it a man
a gender thing.
gender thing like
well,
you always do, but
I don't always
Not
try to
today,
mention the
Jesus.
thing. I just feel like it is a thing. It is different. Like from the what I just said, y'all cannot tell me that men and women don't look at it different.
I can.
I'm telling you now, as a man, when men hear emotional intelligence, that's not what they
Can I
think.
phone a friend?
No,
Want to play a game?
no.
Because I'm going to ask a man.
I'm just saying that's not what they think. I'm
but
talking.
they shouldn't. I think that's where I'm trying to get at.
Oh, I agree.
The word itself isn't gender.
Fluid.
It shouldn't. Well, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just telling you, like, when everybody has different perspectives, and I feel like a man's perspective on the word versus a woman's perspective on the word is different.
This is why we can't come together as a unit because it really shouldn't be.
It
You
should.
know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. It should not.
Like-
but I'm just telling you, in today's world, it is like
But you're the first man I've ever heard say that. So that's
because
all I
people
want to know.
don't. Men don't be.
He's not the first man I heard to say that. However, it doesn't make it less annoying
Yeah, I mean,
because it shouldn't be.
it
I
shouldn't
think is
be.
my point.
But everybody sees everything from different perspectives. Like I said, from those words, men don't look at it like that. When they think of emotional intelligence, they're not thinking about self-reflecting and self-awareness. This is not what. That's just not what they're.
And that's
thinking.
okay to you?
No, it's not okay. I'm just.
So why
telling
are you
what it
promoting
is.
it?
I'm not promoting anything. I'm telling you what it is. I'm keeping it.
I'm
a stack.
asking
I'm
you
fucking-
though, as a man.
we
I'm
asking
not.
you. You are
Oh,
now the
me?
spokesperson
Yeah.
for
I don't
those
speak for
men.
nobody but myself. We already
Okay,
know
it's
that.
fly. It's
That's
for you.
fly.
Okay, heard you. Go ahead.
As me,
Yeah.
I think it's just how it is. It's just everybody has to take definitions and make them work for themselves.
That's not the word of a definition. That's like taking the word happy.
And make it, yes, people make happy work for themselves. Well, happy to me means that I have all this money in the world, I'm doing whatever. Okay, well, happy to me means I'm sitting in the house with my kids watching
That's
TV.
what makes you happy. That's not the
Okay.
definition of happy.
But that's
And
how
you
people
ain't use a
see it.
gender in either definition. That's the point she's making.
Well, what I'm telling you
It shouldn't be
is-
gender device. What's the
I
word?
can't help it. I can't help some words are just like that. And the only reason that some words is like that because it comes to when it comes to relationships. So
Well, May is mental health month, men, and we finna get it together. We finna bridge
I
these
feel like
gaps.
the women need to because y'all.
I
need to
said
understand.
we. See, you already. That's your problem. You're
I was
offensive.
about to get your ass.
Jeez, you can't get me. I'm in this
Give my-
field. This
give
is
my
my
drink.
time to shine.
He was
Shout
ready to
out to all the ladies out there.
go. My God, today.
I told you I was in criminal justice. I was about to be a lawyer. I could argue. I'd just be saving you. I promise you.
Well, here's the deal. So my original path was in psychology. That's just where God put me. But it definitely
That was
was
about
law.
minor.
It was definitely law.
My
And I was
minor
gonna
was
be a prosecutor. So you not a black
We
man.
can go for days.
You can't argue with me when I got 6 brothers. I grew
I
up with this.
promise you I could.
But the point is we're here to bridge the gap. We're not here to create further.
It's not further. I'm
discord.
just saying, just for the people that.
Right. So we're asking you, speak, like you said, you can only
Oh,
speak
yeah.
for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing to bridge the gap with that type of using specifically emotional
Not
intelligence?
using those words.
Here we go.
I don't use the word emotional intelligence. I've never told a woman like, oh, you don't have emotional intelligence. Like, for example, on dating apps, I'll see like women do have that in their profile. Like, I'm looking for a man who has emotional intelligence, blah, blah, blah. To me, when a man sees that, they're basically thinking, oh, you're looking for a man that's going to express themselves. And the only reason I know
Or
that is
emotional
because,
stable, emotionally available.
oh, yeah, emotionally available, they say that as well. So
Or
I feel like
stable.
those are 3 different things, though. Like, you know that, right?
Well, all of them go under the umbrella of emotional intelligence.
I feel like yes, but how are you gonna have it be emotionally intelligent if you're emotionally stable?
Did you not listen to what she just read for the definition?
He didn't.
Yeah,
He
I
told you he
forgot.
only heard 2 words and thought
I
I was
don't
on
know,
4
it's
and
the
I had
crown.
read
It
5.
sounds like selective hearing.
I do
Per
have
usual.
That. I mean, no, that's
Emotional
facts.
intelligence is an umbrella of things.
It is.
So
It
it's
said
able,
key factors, though. It didn't say those were the
It said
definitions.
key
but
elements.
in order to temper
make it
your own
happen.
emotions as well as be considerate of someone else's emotions.
Okay.
So two things can be true.
That is
Can we
facts.
agree on that this evening?
That is facts. We already
Okay.
been agree on that.
All right.
Okay.
It's just trying to see what God lived the truth. Okay. So moving on. How does emotional intelligence show up in your relationships today compared to your 20s?
Today they way better.
Oh, nice. You feel they're better?
How?
Yeah, how?
I feel like now most people me as an adult, I communicate.
Yeah.
I feel like the first step to actually having emotional intelligence is communicating your feelings and how you feel about things, and because of course it's self-awareness, the number one thing. But that's how. What?
You was listening.
This. Don't fucking play with me. See, that's the liquor. This episode just gonna be canceled on sponsorships, but
Don't worry about it. We lost the first 5 seconds when you introduce yourself.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like I forgot what I was talking about. I feel like you interrupted me.
Good.
So in my relationships, bring it back so I can help you out and you can chime in.
Yeah.
If you put the cup down.
I'm trying to, but somebody texted me about a question.
What does that have to do with the cup?
Anyway, just go ahead.
Girl.
Danielle. I mean, sorry, Cookie. Sorry.
It's all right. You can call me all names. He got 12. I don't mind having 2. I feel like in my 30s, it's a lot better on both ends. I think because I set that tone in my relationships, like I try to present that. I try to give what I require. Of course, I fall by the wayside because there are times I am a Tasmanian devil. But I apologize immediate because I want them to see I'm human and I don't have this expectation of you to be perfect. And I don't be wanting them to feel pressured to be perfect, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so I have, a lot of men that I have dated have had that safe space in me. I was like, I ain't think girls this and this. And I'm like, yeah, we out here. But you can't come in like rah, 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 because we match too. We can give you that if that's what you thrive in. But again, people that work on a certain level of peace, it don't matter if it's yourself. Sometimes you do need help from yourself. So when you, what?
I was just agreeing.
I was shocked. That's why I'm like, what you finna say? I was waiting on the rebuttal. With some men, I do think that they have that hard exterior that they try to present first. And sometimes they associate with like them being macho with having to do with their emotions too. It's okay to be soft with your woman. And when I say soft, I don't mean whack, lame, any other synonym. I meant like vulnerable, transparent. Let me use that because they don't even like vulnerable. Transparent.
Okay. I agree.
You back?
Yeah.
Welcome back, Fly.
What you gonna say, nigga?
I was letting you get your.
We thought you was
Get
gonna
your
go
stuff
one
out.
too. I told you I was building it up. I was waiting because you had forgot what you was gonna say.
Nah, I was gonna let Nneka say what she was about to say.
Go ahead, girl.
I think for me, I've always been mature for my age for the most part, but I think I've learned how to temper my maturity even more so in my 30s than in my 20s. I think the work that I've done on myself and, not staying quiet in certain situations, but not sometimes what you say, but how you say it. I think I'm a way better partner in my 30s than I was in my 20s. And not to say I was a bad partner then, but the work and the healing that I've done in my 30s prepared me for my partners of, today. So, and I think
40 and thriving.
yes, indeed. So, but also having a partner who's also done the work on himself makes a world of difference too. Because while there's always going to be work to be done on each party, you guys can come together and have those conversations, have those tough conversations, and then go on about your day. And
it's okay.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not seen as nagging. It's not seen as you just trying to say something just to say something to spark up arguments. Like normally when you bring up those conversations, it's something behind it because you bringing it up for a reason. So those conversations are taken a little differently and they receive differently. So in my 20s, I think just the level of maturity. And then, like I said, 30s, 40s, I've just learned to pick better partners. and recognizing that when someone does lack that level of maturity and can't allow me to express myself, that's not my partner and that's not my person. So let's not waste my time, because in all cases, I don't think I need to treat you how to treat me in every instance. You need to come to with a certain level of maturity and EI, emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I feel like when you do have it, which I feel like when you're in your 30s, I feel like it just clicks on more, because that's the self-awareness and the self-reflecting part. I feel like that comes in opinion, to most people, it kicks in at 33 the most. Like once you hit that 33, self-awareness, everything starts to just, you open your eyes to like what's going on.
That's your Jesus year.
Yeah, that's why I assume, because literally everybody I meet that's 32 is always like walking, clearing heads, and always thinking about what's next in life and like that. And I feel like 33 is when the IE kicks in the most, and you really wake up to like what life is and what life can be, and the things you have done and the things you want to do. And I feel like that's with any person, regardless of gender. But I feel like when it comes to emotional intelligence as an adult in your 30s, I think it's more about just knowing what you're doing. It's like knowing what you've done and what you want to do and what you're doing. Because I feel like it's about accountability, I feel like IE and accountability going hand in hand, because
Now the
what-
first time
what
I
I
let
say?
you make it, but we can't get going to that shit. Nick told me to start saying stuff. I'm gonna take Nick advice and say it right
tell
there.
me? Hey, I don't
Because
even know what I
was letting you
said.
cook.
Because I didn't know where he was going.
Hey, I
'Cause
didn't
I is an example.
The first time I'm like, oh, he
Wait.
mean, yeah, okay.
What?
Example.
I know, my All right, yeah, that is a
Put
look
the
at
cup
this
down.
point. Because
Talking about why we let him. What? We ain't right. This ain't
Did
scripted.
you just say nobody can't stop you?
I got dyslexia, so I'm telling you to look at
That's not even dyslexic.
Hey,
Oh, it is.
It is. But dang, what we was talking about? Oh, look, no, I promise you I had this. So we do know that alcohol does decrease your IE, but
Because Nick and I are fine.
EI.
And I'm on an array.
Wait, did I say
You did.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
My God, today.
Ooh, all right.
Like, you should text us the rest.
What role does empathy play in how you handle conflict with friends or partners now?
Oh, empathy is probably on the forefront for me because I'm a natural empath. So I always play devil's advocate, even though when I don't want to. I think it helps because, like he said, we all have different ways of doing things. And so something I had to learn is just because I would do something one way don't mean that's your process. So I can't approach you based on how I would do it. I can't respond like that. I have to truly like be at ground zero with you, see where you at, and then respond accordingly. And that's where the empathy falls in. Because if I ain't care, I ain't give it that.
That's what I kicked in, huh?
He said it. By George, he got it.
He was just looking for a chance to put it up. He was just looking for a chance to right his wrong. You got it.
And to be honest, I learned that being a mother.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't even an adult because I looked at adults like you should know better, like you said. But it's not everybody's case. So when I had kids, work with kids, I understood better. Like, sometimes, even like I said, I give my mama grace because there are things I expected her to know at this age that she didn't know, but now I truly get it.
Yeah.
I only know because of the things I went through. She didn't go through some of the things I went through.
Exactly.
So, yeah, empathy to me is definitely number one. It has to be.
Yeah. As you get older, I feel like, for me, I just feel like I can understand what you're going through. Like, it's life. It's life. So I know, you're going through things. So I can't expect you to feel, be or anything a certain type of way with me because I don't know what life is doing to you. I only know what life is doing to me. And I know how life be playing with me. I mean, me and life get along well, but I feel like, for others, they might not take it the way I do. I don't stress over anything. Like, it happens, and I know other people do. So I feel like I give everybody grace. Like, I allow you to be yourself. I try to, I'm a Libra too, so we have to see both sides of everything regardless. So I always put myself in other people's shoes and try to think from, what it could be or what it is and sympathize with them from that. which I do feel like, because becomes a problem because I feel like I'm giving too much grace. But it's just for the fact that I understand it's life and how stuff can be. And, and I am the type of person who put myself in other people's shoes to understand, how the thought process might be. And I feel like that's another way I help awaken other people's, because any person that's around me and they tell me like a complaint or anything about somebody, I'm the person who gives them that other person's point of view. I put myself in their shoes, or I help them open their mind to what this person could be going through, so that you don't stress over or be too mad about it or whatever. I try to help them understand their situation. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, as long as you open, as long as I'm open, I feel like I show empathy by, being on your side and the other person's side, allowing you to express yourself and showing you that, just because this is how you feel or think about it doesn't mean it could have possibly only went that way.
That's good.
Yeah.
He's so grown.
That's weird.
Still ain't got no EI. That was just a case. One case.
Yeah.
He got to pay for that. He got to pay for that.
Now you got to play that on the outro, because that's my
No, they're gonna steal our sound. We can't do that anymore. No one use it. Yeah,
Work too hard.
That's crazy.
What you think? How you empathetic, Nene?
absolutely. I think, especially like with my partners, I'm very intuitive. I can definitely read energy. I can tell shifts, and my friends too. I could just always tell like when something's going on, like and be able to determine those things. So I think my empathy allows me to, when you feel the difference in that person, be able to have those conversations. Just for instance, the relationship that I'm in now, there was an incident a couple of weeks ago where he, had some outside source going on. So, but that was one of the first time that I noticed a shift, and not projecting it was me, because but because that's the first things people want to go to, like, and
what I do,
that first 20-year-old me probably been like, what are you? But based off of what I knew was going on, I knew it wasn't me. Yeah. So, but I was like, during this moment, how can I better support you as a partner? What does this look like? Because this is our first time having this. No argument. We've been together over a year, never had an argument.
Right.
Don't ask me.
All right, Alicia and Sweet.
Don't ask. No, well, I ain't saying one ain't coming, but I'm just saying our emotional intelligence allow us to have conversations. So I put it like that. But in that particular instance, I was like, okay, well, this is what happened, and how can I support you in that? When you go through this, how do I support you? What does this look like? And as a man, he was able to say, you know what? I often used to internalize things, so I didn't even realize on how the outer source it affects other people when I do that.
You probably didn't even realize he was showing different.
He didn't.
Yeah.
So as soon as we had the conversation, and we had a conversation about that particular issue, it was good. Like, it was like back to normal, like nothing. And that's the point of having those conversations and being in tune with your partner. Yeah. So I think the empathy in me allowed me to recognize that there was an issue going on, even if the issue wasn't me, and not allow myself to project over something that had absolutely nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the high level of EI, huh?
Yep.
Correct. That's that grown.
You trying to make up for your...
He's going to say that every 30 seconds.
Right.
At this point, they going to start...
We got you.
So we
you're going to have them thinking Reading Rainbow back.
Sheesh. So not only is that a thing in relationship and friendship, you can have EI in career and communication. So, has there been an EI or emotional intelligence that's helped you in a workplace or with a career transition?
Yeah. Like for me, like anytime I go do, because I've been doing like a lot of random gigs and stuff like that. And I think I'm just a natural leader / control person. But it's like I'm the type of person, like if there's something to be done, like I step on the scene and it's like I assess what needs to be done. I start doing it, and then others follow. I get them to do it. I get them to start it, and then I move on to the next. You know what I mean? And while they're finishing that up, I'm starting the next. And by the time they catch up to me, they finish that. And I'm on to the next again. So I feel like I use it, emotional intelligence is to be aware of like my surrounding, the people I'm working with, who's doing what needs to be done. And I use it to delegate. because I feel like to delegate, you definitely have to have emotional intelligence, because you have to be able to plan ahead, see things that needs to be done next, and either delegate or do it yourself to get it done. But you also have to understand the type of people you're around, because you don't want them to get offended or feel like, you're taking advantage of them, or you're not doing as much work as them, or you bossing them around. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just easier for me to do that, because I feel like I have such a high level of what's going on around me, what needs to be done, and then like the overall objective of the end goal, that I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to when they start something. Like, I feel like they just start and like, okay, this is what we're doing. Me, I'm like, what needs to be done? And then I think of every step that needs to be done to get that done. And I start on it as soon as I see it. So I think I use, delegation as a form of emotional intelligence in the workplace.
What about your empathy, though?
Yeah, I mean, that's what me helping. Me helping is like me showing, that's my empathy. Me is showing you that I would get in here and do this with you too. Like, I'll start it just to let you know, like, I'm not above doing it, but you're only thinking about this task where we're doing. You're thinking about this, and I'm thinking about the next 3 things that need to be done so that we can get all this done and go home. So that's just how I am anywhere. But so I think that's how I show empathy, because I come in and, I'm willing to do this with you. I understand that, what this work is, and you don't want to do it either, and I don't either. That's why I'm thinking of the best, quickest way we can get this done and go home. So, yeah.
For me, I think it's my calm demeanor. I'm pretty even keel.
Yeah.
And then even the most high anxiety employee, nerves calm around me.
Yeah.
Because I think I show and prove. Like you said, I don't put anything on anyone that I'm not willing to do myself. Yeah. So I think an objective kind of, and the people who work up under me can see that I have an objective for them, and I do mean them well, are more likely to work and do things for you, because they understand that everything you do is for a purpose.
Yeah.
I said, so I've worked with different people with different personalities, and I was even asked myself by some of my coworkers, like, how do you remain so calm? And I had to stop and think. I say, because I can't afford not to. Yeah. When you have people working up under you, they look at you, and when you freak out, they freak out.
That's fast.
And I told them, I said, I can't afford to freak out. I have too many people under me. I have clients, I have employees, I have, vendors, contractors that look to me for those answers. So I always have to remain that even keel temperamental person to kind of remain focused. And that kind of guides my team.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm HR. I gotta be empathetic. It's natural though. I don't think if I wasn't an empathetic person, I could deal with it, because I hear everything from their family life to their relationship life to the person they cussed out at the gas station, even to the owner. Like, even same thing with owners. Like, I am the liaison between both of these people. Well, these groups of people. And you create a calm demeanor, and so mine is I provide comedic relief. Like, I do. Like, one of the girls, her son was sick or whatever, and she was just stressed because she was like, I just started, I gotta be out, da 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 da. And I was like, look on the bright side though. If you didn't call and tell me you would have your son, because they're community based, so they don't come to the office. As if you didn't call me and tell me you had your son, I wouldn't have known that. Like, put him in the backseat and go do what you got to do. Yeah. Put a mask on him and go on. Like, okay. And she's like, well, how did it? I was like, I have 4 kids. And I don't disclose that up front all the time. So, because they think I'm there. And some of them are young, so they think I'm young too. I'm like, girl, I got 4 kids and they big. I finna have one in college, da, da, da. And I just make them laugh. I'm like, it's okay. Like, I'm human. I go through this. This is what I'm dealing with my grandma, da, da, da. And I'm like, that's the reason they have my cell phone number. You don't have to, because I want them to know that I'm human too. And I feel like when you have happy employees, the work is productive.
Always.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So that's like self-reflection, or?
It's self-awareness.
Self-awareness, you feel like?
Yeah. Because sometimes it's for me too.
Yeah.
You say something and it ministers to you, it's for me too. So I'm like, yeah, I do need to let them know that I'm not a robot. I need to let them know, like, right now, I still No, they don't. They don't. I wouldn't be there. Right now, I owe this girl an what's it called? An offer letter to this day. It's like 5 days late, and she's just so patient.
Girl, if you don't get this girl her
Okay,
job,
so she can start.
right? Boy, I would be so mad.
The thing
my money.
is, it's not preventing her from doing the work. A, B, it was a method to my madness because I negotiated her a higher salary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So every time he forgot, I was like, you got to add another to that. So it worked. So
Oh, she probably happy for them 5 days. Then.
yeah, she is.
Because I would have hit your line like, are we working or not? Because
Especially if you ain't keep him in the loop.
I have been keeping. Now,
Now
that I have to. I have been keeping
God.
her in the loop. Number one, I have been keeping her in the loop. But two, they $10.99. So what can you do?
Yeah. Just a side note, anybody out there, I just want everybody to know, HR is not your friend. But continue.
Because you get all kinds of stuff.
That they work for the company.
I didn't put them on. Please tell them, no, I work for me. Because if they disgruntled, making you disgruntled, I'm right behind you. One band, one sound.
So how do you check yourself before reaching emotionally in professional settings? Reacting emotionally in professional settings.
It depends on the situation because sometimes I won't, but it really do. And I feel like that's the emotional intelligence in me because I can decide when it's not the time to show my ass. So that is definitely.
There really was no other way you could say that.
There's no other way. I'm sorry, but no, like for real, because it's like at work when it's not. Like one, if you already know how your life is set up, like the emotional intelligence of being self-aware. Okay, I got this bill due. They gonna mess up this check, but because everybody plan their checks.
Right.
Like okay, they gonna mess up this plan. They gonna have this going on. So I mean, I feel like everybody probably at the works knows how to use that emotional intelligence because I feel like more people would be crashing out if they didn't.
Yeah.
I think emotional intelligence at work though. I think that's for I'm gonna say our generation. That kind of was taught to us. Like we literally was taught how to work at interviews, how to fill out applications, how to make a resume,
checkbooks.
Like they really had classes on how to be professional, which I think that's what Trump's trying to bring back. But that's why he want everybody to bring all these jobs back to America, knowing we don't want to work. But
we have those. So we have them now in high schools, but they're not required.
Oh, okay.
You know how you could pick a fine art? It's like one of them things now, which
I did
sucks
not know that
because it's a necessity.
Yes.
Of
But
course, everybody want to be in choir.
everybody always want to be in band or choir.
Right.
But no, so I think when it comes to the job, I think for our age, it was taught to us to have emotional intelligence for work. Like, I feel like it was just deeply engraved in, this is what you do when you work for a company. This is how you dress for an interview. Like, those are real things that they taught to us. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's easier for us to have that type of demeanor when it comes to work. But again, I don't feel like it. I feel like everybody has that because we were more so taught, like this is how you're supposed to act at work and, go up there and don't, show out at work and, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
For our generation, not them young ones.
I would say, and I'm going to say this the nicest way possible, as a Black woman, I don't think we can afford not to have that level of emotional intelligence. I think oftentimes they think or expect you to walk in a room with a certain attitude or a certain demeanor, or you raise your voice above a whisper. You
ask a question.
Yeah, you looked at it a certain way. So I think we were taught relatively quickly not to, So
I agree.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case. To where you almost have to come in. And I won't say cosplay someone else, but
it's code switch.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
it ain't cosplay because it's in us.
Yeah,
but it's definitely code switch.
Yeah, it's definitely code switch. And I think that's even just having enough.
And then for me, I just
emotionally intelligent.
He's finna mess it up again.
Yeah,
and then I just
he looked at the teacher for help. What you said, teacher?
Yeah, and then at the same time, and I don't let some of that stuff bother me. I don't take a lot of that stuff home. Yeah. Like some of them feelings be real hurt around that stuff, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's what you want. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next."
Soon as
I'm gonna get you what you want. What you need at the end of the day. All right.
and let it go.
We down the road, and I think that makes some people mad too because
That
they expect you
upsets
to
them.
have a whole different demeanor. I'm not finna take this job home with me like that. I have a life outside of this, so if that's what you want to do, and it's the culture that you would like to provide. Okay,
Do what you do.
this is all right. So not so many things bother me in that regard too. I think that's what
Yeah,
gets the people going.
that's facts. Because I know when I was at a job, like my natural instinct is, to follow the rules and do it. And then there's always this little insight, be like, what? Gotta listen to these people.
You do it. God, dog.
Who you talking to?
So what are some of the practices or tools that you use to help stay emotionally grounded?
Meditation.
Yeah.
Heavy on meditation, self-care, being transparent, like communicating my feelings more in the moment. Like you said, not holding on to them because some people don't recognize it after the fact, especially the male species. They do have a kind of rollover type thing. And I'm speaking from a sister's perspective. I ain't even hit the men in my relationship type. The brothers, yeah, those things. Self-reflection is a big one too.
Self-care, music,
Music makes me
the word,
Yeah.
come on, the word.
an outlet of some sort, whether it be friends or having
Yeah.
some type of hobby or something kind of that can take your mind off the thing that's kind of the stressors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And recognizing your triggers.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you do, Fly, since birth?
Right. For me, it could be like working out, listening to sermons. I like to listen to books because I feel like they help.
Like
ground.
audiobooks?
Yeah, I listen to audiobooks
Nice.
to help me stay grounded and to basically do more self reflection. I tell everybody I feel like I'm too self aware, and I do feel like that's a hindrance on my life, but. I'm very self-aware. That is a big problem.
That's the scary part because you're self-aware and you do stuff anyway.
Exactly. That's why I say it's a hindrance on my part. Because I think that's because I do, listen to a lot of self-help books. I listen to a lot of sermons, and I do work out. Well, I haven't been working out lately because I've been depressed, but that's a different story.
What? It's
See, that's
mental health, man. What you depressed
that's a
about? You just said
self-awareness
you felt
part.
good and all that other stuff.
I don't mean I still ain't feeling good. I just told you I took a happy pill. But anyway.
No, that wasn't on
And
the
mix
air.
it with the alcohol.
You wasn't on the air when you said that.
Yeah, you or not.
Now
Yeah.
you were not on the air when you said that. That was family business.
These people can know. I
They're
posted on my Instagram.
extended.
And it's public. And the same people who
And
listen
this
to
is
watch that,
emotional
so.
intelligence.
Exactly. Enough to know that I'm self-aware of what I'm saying, and enough to
No.
know that I do not
And,
care.
and
what
enough to know
anybody
that
think
you
they
should have
say.
knew better not to post it.
I know. But I'm
There
grown
we
and
go.
don't
All I
care.
needed to hear was the I know. Thank
Well,
you.
I didn't see that. If
I
I,
didn't
saw it, I
either.
would, you see something, you say something. Had I
Kim
saw
did it.
that,
We would have saw that. We would
well,
have
I
said
didn't.
something.
I know
And had
y'all
I
did.
saw something, I
It was a late Saturday night post or Friday night. I know y'all don't be on them
we'll
times.
discuss that off air because I don't want to talk about
I don't
that
either.
to our listeners, but we'll have that discussion. 30 plus therapy scenario is an opportunity for our listeners to reach out to us and allow us to fix their life, even if ours are in shambles at the moment. So we have one. I'm gonna go ahead and we have one. So give me a second or two as we cue this up.
All right. I'm
We
trying.
still-
Hey,
I
hey.
have nothing. Because what?
Oh, my bad.
EI.
But while we are queuing up our 30 plus therapy, just to close things out, how do you? What advice would you give someone who's realizing they've been emotionally reactive and want to grow?
Self-reflect. You got to start with yourself first. Because like we said, there are people who don't know, like you talked about, with your relationship, he didn't even realize he wasn't himself. A lot. I've seen that as well. And for me, I've had hard conversations. Like I've went back and had conversations with like college friends, because they took my isolation as an offense. And I didn't know how to let people be there for me when I was going through the things I was going through.
Yeah.
Right, because of what? And and so I had to what triggered it is one of them we were talking about like some random stuff, just catching up. And they were like, you was a shitty friend. Excuse my language. I was like, why?
You already lost, y'all.
Yeah.
I was like, what? How? We did this. I made sure this, and this. They was like, no, but when you needed us, you didn't allow us to be there. You pushed us away, and that hurt me because you were a sister to me. You were this. And so, one, I didn't grow up with a sister. So I didn't value female friendships. If they were gone, I just took I took the fly approach. Then it went me, and I'm moving on. Bye. So, but I've always had the didn't want to feel like a burden to people attitude. So the things I was going through then, it felt like I would have burdened them. Number one, I got pregnant at 19. That was a lot to process. And I didn't want them to stop for me. Like, y'all go live. But they was like, no, we want to be there. And I'm like, unless y'all come to the baby shower. Get out. But they was like, no, and then the wedding and this and this. So I had to go back and really sit and think about now how mature I am. We had this conversation in our late 20s, but it was almost 30. But now how I matured, I sat and was like, dang, I probably would have felt the same way. Like I bother Nneka all the time. Phone him, I'm like, girl, what you got going on? Why I ain't heard from you? She'd be like, girl. Be like, girl, let me love you. I call her randomly and harass her until I love her, just hang up. But I do that because I recognize some people need that. Yeah. Some people do need it. And so I never want to be in a space where somebody feels like I'm neglecting them or purposely being ugly to them when I'm really trying to process what I got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You?
Oh, what was the question?
Girl. What is 30 plus therapy?
Wait, I forgot. I'm sorry.
It's all right, baby.
I was listening. I was
baby, did you got 30 plus therapy?
My bad. I was all enthralled in your conversation.
So 30 plus therapy is when we allow our listeners to come in and let us fix their lives the best way they know how. And as we say in every episode, none of us are licensed therapists. We're just telling you what we know. So this is this episode, 30 plus therapy.
First, thank y'all for trusting us with y'all emotional intelligence.
Amen.
And hold on.
No, but I think I remember the question.
Baby, just talk. You should have just started talking. Girl, I cannot. This is not a drill, y'all. This is real life.
I know. Usually, normally I have this before the episode too.
It ain't even. No, we're not even talking about you. We talking about this random dead air filler over here.
That's crazy.
I was going to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but we'll make it. Girl.
Un momento, por favor. So,
look at him.
It's already connected, so.
Fly, how you feel?
Huh? I feel great.
You look like it. You look like organized chaos.
You know what's crazy? I had a comment about what's called like after what you said, and I had a whole point in speech ready, but I was trying to.
No, do not transfer accountability.
That was it. Thank you. Thank you. That's it right there. I'm glad you said that word because that was my whole point. All right. Wait.
Talk.
Okay. I thought she was about to play. But look,
focus,
right,
baby.
So what I was going to say is how we help other people with emotional intelligence is by helping them take accountability.
Yeah.
Because if you call somebody out on their stuff or if you let somebody know what they did to you. Yeah. They have to sit there and think about their actions. Yeah. And by doing that, you holding them in a higher standard, which is going to make them self-reflect. That's where I feel like emotional intelligence starts because, of course, it was the first one with. But I think that's where we need to start with accountability. Thank you, Cookie, for being
You're welcome, baby. This is what I told you. I gave you IEP. I know how to work. I know the accommodations you needed to make this thing work. And you're doing a great job. You're excelling. I love it. And
I want you to take more accountability. Now play the question, please.
He is so stupid, y'all. He just had, this is what we talking about when you're in heel. He not used to accepting compliments from me. Now he got to be rude.
All right, here we go. Last time, if this don't work, we got to paraphrase whatever they sent to me again. Cousins, we apologize. We're usually a little bit together. I got this one as while we were recording, so apologies. Here we go. Let's try this again.
Questions I asked myself in my 30s. Why didn't I get married when I was 20? What deems a man to be high value, man? Why is it that no matter how financially stable you are still unfinancially stable?
That was a lot.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you.
What?
Basically,
she said, why didn't she get married in her 20s? Because I'm guessing she not like in her 30s. Well, no, but she said, why did she didn't get married in her 20s?
She's asking us that?
Yeah, this is the questions. I guess this is 30 plus.
Can you make it plain?
That was a couple of things. I think it basically, long story short, of not hitting all the check boxes
before
a certain time. Yeah,
that's what it sounded.
We
like.
should have sent her the episode. We just talked about
and
it.
how you can be financially stable but still financially unstable
at 30 something.
So how you can be financially stable but still money management issues.
Basically.
Easy. If you live here,
no,
I ain't putting that on him. If you live in Houston, we was just talking about it. $20 to park, $30 to get in, 20 for 10 wings.
And some of y'all just need to leave Houston on a Sunday. I know
They do. Y'all need to leave Saturday before checkout. When you get your free breakfast, go ahead and leave. Because y'all keeping it high. I be wanting to go to brunch because I live here, not to turn up.
Yeah. Leave Houston on a Sunday. That's my advice. Now,
start with the first question. We could break this.
Why did she not get married in that? I have no idea, baby, because I'm Florida. Girl,
personal problem.
It's not your assignment at that moment. I just think maybe you'll meet your husband in your 20s. And I think that's part of the problem too. A lot of people want the wedding, not the marriage.
Yes.
So they so quick to check a box that they're just willing to marry anyone that asks them, and that is not your assignment either. So if you want to be divorced in your 30s, that's probably why you didn't get married in your 20s.
Ma'am, I got married in my 20s and I was divorced in my 20s. You don't want that. And it wasn't because he a bad person. I would always say it wasn't a bad person. We just weren't meant to be. And we knew that before going in because, again, we were checking boxes based on timelines given. You don't want that. You did what you needed to do. So now do the work so you can understand why your 20s, it didn't happen. Because you probably wasn't ready. And do you really? Yeah. He probably wasn't ready. You don't want a half a man.
I feel like, if you didn't get married in your 20s, it's because that's not where you were thinking. Like, everybody don't think about marriage in their 20s,
I didn't.
Yeah, that's all. So that's your mind frame probably wasn't even on marriage. So even if you had an opportunity, you probably didn't even take it because that's not what you were looking for. Right. The next question was, how do you value a high value man? Or what did she say? How you find a high value man?
I don't know. It's background noise. So what makes... But let me go back and answer for my thing for the marriage thing. Okay. So for me, I think at the end of the day, that just wasn't your assignment at that time. That happens.
Yes.
And like Mike said, I would agree with that. That people don't prioritize. Some people didn't prioritize that. Yeah. And for people like myself, I prioritized career in my 20s. And not to say that a marriage wasn't important to me. I just knew there was some growing, especially with the partner that I had at that time, that needed to be done. So I didn't make it a focal point. So
I agree.
Yeah, victim of circumstance at that time.
I don't even say that. It's just that's not what was meant to happen. Like, right. Just plain and simple. That's just not what was meant to happen.
Yes. Okay. Second part. It said something about a high value man.
Something about what makes a high value man.
What makes a high value man?
Well, I think we had a whole episode.
It's not that show. We ain't had no episode about no high value man.
Yeah, we did. Or what makes somebody of something.
We don't talk about that.
It was something in the context to where I'm pretty sure we did talk about it. But just go to the final question because whatever makes you a high value man is whatever in your eyes because everybody's value is different. So
everybody's definition is different.
Everybody's definition do. So whatever to you is a high value man, that's a high value man, no matter what nobody else tell you. So plain and simple.
I have no argument for that.
Amen. High five.
All right. And then the last one was
maybe my alcohol's kicking in. Just kidding.
The boy's making sense.
No, but the last one she said,
how can you be financially stable still financially unstable?
I feel like that's just as an adult and growing pains. Because I feel like in your 20s you're used to just doing whatever, and then once you get 30 and then you start making money, you realizing like it's coming in fast, but you spending it fast too.
Yeah.
So that goes back with Kim. My bad. I don't know what this nigga know, but my bad. Cookie. I said earlier, that's just money management. Because no matter how much you make and how much you spend is all comes to how you manage it. You know, what you spend it on, what you doing with it, and all that. And I know this girl, she likes. What is it? Top notch, like the most, not the lesser. Like
I'm mad I sung
everything is just top notch. So maybe if you get you some regular stuff and stops buying the high version of everything you see, you might be
have
better.
to do that. You get
I do.
You get the HEB brand and still look. Things are just getting high and expensive,
Well,
right?
That's true too.
Don't you buy no Imperial sugar. Better get that great value, girl.
Right? That's what it is, because she will.
Listen, some things you got to get the top notch on, and then some things you could just
Like cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Well, I'm gonna let y'all know all rice is made in the same factory. So no matter what that bag say, I promise you that rice came from the same factory.
Oh, no,
all
I
you
ain't
do
worried
is pay
about
for
rice.
packaging.
I like
I'm just saying, like, people out here buying the hot stuff, not knowing that it's all coming from the same place
I
with
like
different.
jasmine rice.
And then at the end of the day, things are just going up. We are in some interesting times right now, and we haven't seen that. So the last of those ports that came in, those deliveries to those ports were last week.
Oh yeah.
So if you notice, I'm not sure if you guys have been to the stores lately. A lot of the things on the shelves are starting to get a little empty.
Yep, I'm getting light out there.
Yeah. So stay safe.
Y'all better get
I want to
great
let y'all
value.
know I got tomato stuff. I'm gonna start growing tomatoes,
Oh, Lord.
onion, basil. Oh Lord, nothing. It's oh Lord until it's
It's a garden popping.
The Walking
and I need
Dead
something.
around here. Yeah, you like, hey, ain't no tomatoes.
No, it
Come
ain't.
on over here and get your little tomatoes.
That ain't gonna be the only way. I'm taking them. No.
You do what you must.
But if you have a 30 plus therapy, make sure you email it to us at the 30 plus podcast at gmail.com or send us a DM. And that's a wrap for today's episode of 30 Plus Podcast. We hope this conversation on emotional intelligence sparks something real for you, whether it's for how you show up in relationships, communicate your needs, or just give yourself grace as you grow. Remember, EI isn't about having it all figured out. It's about staying curious, staying honest, and choosing growth over ego, one moment at a time. Until next time, if you can't be good, at least be good at it. See you when we see ya. Peace.
Uh-oh.
Get your hands up, yeah.